welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Tuesday, August 11th, 2020, and today's topic is called On the Rim, Cloud Makers or Cloud Clingers. And it's a collection of images and sky observations happening August 5th through August 8th, 2020. And before we get going with the sky observations, I'd like to say good day, osio, hao, buongiorno, guten tag, kia ora, jambo, buenos dias, bonjour, ni hao, dzień dobry, konnichiwa, dobro dnia, annyeonghaseyo, boa tarde, dobry den, aloha uwinala, galimera, and guten dag. So we're going to start off with some Puddle Cloud rim sequences, and I'm going to fly through these pretty quickly. I invite you to, on your own time, take a look at study each photo if you wish. I'm just going to have to kind of march through on a more rapid pace today to keep the show short. But I will call out some individual things on some of the images coming up. So just on a quick walkthrough here, just noticed a really weird puddle cloud, I'm calling it. It just happens where it just seems like artificial cloud kind of spontaneously, more or less, develops and pretty quickly. And then usually along the rim there's a weird little fray or, kind of agitated cloud activity, let's just say. In this case, there's even some weird radiating striations coming out. And here's a look kind of toward the center. Just look at how strange that texture is. Kind of choppy, and again, doesn't really look artificially created. Actually, it looks like an object's hiding in there. Something weird is starting to emerge as we go along. We'll zoom in on that soon. But again, now this kind of radiating striations start to overtake this whole thing and start moving and fanning out along toward the left of the photo. But here again on the rim, just a weird cloud, looks very artificially generated. So the more I've been seeing this, the more I've started to come up with a theory that maybe something else is generating all of this other than, we've talked about chemtrails, man-made chemtrails, where you see the jet flying and spraying a chemical that stays in the air and thickens. But this seems to be something else. So it leads me to the theory that there are craft, and we're going to look at evidence of that kind of popping out of the rim. But are those craft just hanging out there, hiding or cloaking or waiting to go somewhere else? I don't know what they're doing. Or are they actually sitting there and actively creating some of this stuff, this veiling cloud? Let's just say, I don't know if it's water vapor anymore, or plasma, or something else. So we're going to have a look at all of these things. Here's, continued part of the sequence. Look at some of the structure happening in here and how regular it is. It almost looks like old depictions and like old wood carving books from the medieval times of like a little of rays coming out of the sun. It's just really strange. Yet this is like very dark blanket, of whatever cloud, we'll just call it, completely hiding our ability to see the sun going down towards sunset. So again, it's really thick, but then I started to see little objects popping out, and again, we're going to be calling these objects along the rim. So let's take a closer look at what could be going on with all of this. So as we get into it, this is that weird object I said was starting to emerge. So here's the cutoff line here of the really dark, thick blanket of gray. And then it just gets weirder as we come up, but totally veiling the sun. But look at this thing. It looks like a tube. It looks like it has its own light generating out of it. So I enhanced the photo. And when I say enhanced, from now forward, if you've seen any of my other shows, you know this. It simply means I've taken the photo and either altered the contrast, the brightness, the hue, or the color, just to help further draw out some of these things that we're seeing and bring them into a little more clarity, perhaps. And sometimes they just bring out more questions. But anyway, we clearly see it better than over here and in some other cases. So anyway, nothing's added to or taken out of the photo, just some of the attributes are altered a bit. So here we go. At first I thought this was a weird tubular type thing, just kind of creating some light on its own at the tip. But then I'm also looking, and this could be like a fish-like thing where the head is heading that way, and that's like the tail opened up or splayed for some reason. And I'll let you know why I think that too in an upcoming photo when we see another object. So this lower right-hand corner is just another photo with more extreme contrast, just again to see if we can see that thing in any better light. And sometimes changing the color even helps, just to look at stuff in a different way. And again, this seems to be an object popping up over here, but I didn't get to that in the show. Alright, so this is Objects in the Cloud Rim. Again, we've got that heavy dark blanket right over where the sun would be. Then we've got this weird smoke-like activity, really dark, dark charcoal gray. So I zoomed in on that, A, and B. So A1 is a further zoom in on A, and B1 is a further zoom in on B. So not only does this have like two triangular shapes in there, they do seem to have more of a mass to it, but we also see this really intense, pure white crystalline activity kind of happening in there too, which also tells me something looks like it's cloaking in that. And then here, this looks like one bigger object, again, kind of fish-shaped. So it seems to have mass to it, and yet hiding beyond the cloud. This is interesting too. It looks like three circles that have definite structure. I'm just noticing that now. So what is going on? These definitely look like objects of some type. Are they solid 3D mass? Are they interdimensional? I'm not sure. See what you think. Okay, now we're looking too at another type of cloaking craft, perhaps, where it's the void in this outline, the tufts, maybe forming, a definition of what this thing is, like a pointed ellipse. But the more I looked at it, it looked like there's solid craft maybe on the rim of this thing. So we're going to take a closer look. And then the lower right-hand corner too, there seems to be structure popping out of this cloud mass, and there seems to be other like more solid objects popping out as well. So this is all worth taking a closer look, and here we go. If you look at letter E, that's where I was pointing to that pointed ellipse, and going up I've changed the contrast and color again, trying to pull more things out. So A, that looked like definite structure happening in here. And as you can see, that little outline looks like a definite structure that's non-natural, just like what would be natural in the clouds. And then B, that seems to have more of a geometrical shape as well, kind of like a rectangular shape, rhombus type shape. And then C gets really interesting because this is clearly an undeniable design structure. We've got symmetry, geometry, everything about this is very intelligently designed. So I zoomed in a little bit more to better outline, what's going on. And then here, this triangle just shows also, if you look in the previous photo of the original, I also see kind of a shadowy shape of that triangle. And if you go to the previous photo and zoom in, I think you'll see it as well. Now D gets real interesting. That's over here in the lower right-hand corner. Look at this. It looks like a pipe popping up, like a split pipe form, and solid structure happening all around it. So what is it exactly? Can't tell you because we've got a lot of cloud hiding it, but see what you think might be in there. All right, and this is called Objects in the Cloud Rim again. We've got, is it cloaking craft here? Are these things generating cloud? Is that why they're sitting there? What is going on? And is this 3 items or one bigger item? So those are questions worth examining further. So I zoomed in, changed the contrast, and I outlined for clarity what I think is going on. So this is either one big ship with 3 elements sitting on deck, or it's 3 individual craft. So you pick, you see what you think. But either way, I zoomed in on B, C, and D. So B, there's definite angles and structure to this, so I'm saying that's intelligently designed. I don't know if this is all one big thing, or it's just part of it here. I can't tell you, but see what you think. This is definitely also structure. We've got some right angles happening over here. And again, just translate upward and look and see what I'm seeing. And then down here, triangular shape for sure. So like a truncated pyramid is happening over here. Now this is a very distinct edge to it, and again, a designed curve, not just a haphazard natural curve in nature in the clouds, and I noted that up here. And that leads me to believe this is part of an overall bigger installation of some bigger ship or craft. As always, though, see what you think and see what you see. If you see anything interesting or see other things in any of these images I haven't called out that, you're like, why didn't you say something? Just let me know in the comment section below. Okay, this is called a Puddle Fray cloud rim sequence. I'm just coining that phrase because, again, this cloud kind of puddles up and outward and grows and expands. And then there's even this like fray on the edges, on top of it. So in this particular case, in the middle shot here, the middle image, it looked like, normal, like this weird artificial fray happening on the cloud, but it looked like it intensified around here. So this looks like cloaking material. Again, is it just water vapor? Is it plasma? Is it something else? I have no idea, but it again looks like the stuff that's an indicator of when a craft is cloaking or decloaking, coming or going. Is it, again, 3D mass or interdimensional? I have no idea. But we're going to look at that coming up in a standalone slide coming up. So again, just strange cloud behavior. Doesn't seem typical at all of decades past, I can tell you that. And look at this one. This looks like craft cloaking. Again, coming or going, but this is a perfect cone. Really, in geometry class, that's a perfect cone. And then beyond it seems like maybe interdimensional shapes overlaying. So I'm not sure what's going on there. And the tufts of cloud perfectly outline that cone. And we're going to zoom in on this in a bit as well. This looks like a weird little object, but I couldn't really pull much out of it. But see what you see in there. Okay, so this is a zoom in on that object. Kind of looks like a fish-like shape. So I outlined it in orange to let you see what I'm seeing. This middle photo is the original, just kind of enhanced a bit to see there's definitely something happening in there. I kind of picked out a chalice and some triangles. See what shapes you find. And again, is this thing, what is it doing there? Is it generating cloud and smoke and expanding this cloud? Or is it simply cloaking there as it's doing its daily business, coming, going from God knows where? See what you think, you be the judge. Okay, here's that cloaking image where it looks like a cone. So I have the cone in white. The original image is in the upper right hand corner where you could see the cone. So I've called it out in white outline, and then some of these other overlay shapes, geometrical shapes I have in different colors as well. So this looks like there could be an overall diamond shape where my cursor is going. That's this orange shape. And so have a little time here, see what you see. I also pick out an elliptical form up in here, have that in black outlined, and see what else you can find. Again, I don't know why these are all overlaid like this, these different shapes, and what that cone form is, if it's an interdimensional craft, or what it could possibly be. Some type of sensor technology or filter technology. I have no idea. If you have any good ideas, let me know in the comment section below. Alright, now this one is just called the object near the cloud rim. This is in a completely different location, but we still have this heavy blanket cloud, also on a different day. Then we have this also weird cloud material popping up over here. So I see a really weird object up here in the upper left. I'm calling it A. And I have another A over here where I just changed the contrast and drew a little outline of what I think that shape looks like. Is that the exact shape? Probably not. It's just what I can see for now with all the smoke and mirrors going on, so to speak. Also, I'm noting there's a red-pink tinge beyond the veiled sun. Sun's in quotes because I do believe there's artificial tech up there, sun technology that is really changing the way we view the sun, and the way the heat and the light of the sun coming out these days is nothing like we've had in decades past. So please do go ahead and look at some previous shows I talk about that subject, or also any of the numerous Earth and Sky watching channels out there on YouTube. There's a lot of very interesting angles and views to this, and images coming in from people from all around the world that are really well worth looking at and noting. And then you can formulate your own theory about what's going on in the world and our skies today. Alright, here's another objects in the cloud at the rim. On the lower left is the original photo. 20 minutes later, to the photo on the right, you see it's like completely, this blanket of artificial stuff is obscuring the sun. Again, sun in quotes, it's already getting veiled by something else, and then this blanket comes in on another level in front, and then you always get these other little clouds popping up even in front of that. So this all happens routinely now at sunsets and sunrises, so that we can't get a clear view of what's going on with the ball, let's say, of the sun coming up or down. But anyway, that being said, we're going back to our lower left photo. I'm just calling out something strange happening in this neighborhood over here and up over here. So I'm calling it A and B. Something strange happening. I changed the contrast. This looks like a giant chocolate morsel, chocolate chip morsel here. That's what I see. Just a little nod to the cookie reference I have in the very first slide. Anyway, it also looks like there might be a triangular form here, a weird oval shape here, and something else happening beyond here, triangle shaped. But for now, we'll just focus on A and B. So we go to the upper images. A1 just means a zoom in of A, B1 means a zoom in of B, A2 means a further zoom in of A and B. So here we go. Change the contrast and some color, trying to see it in a different way. That's what we get. Zooming in more in A, look at it, it's like a tube with something coming out of it. It's really strange. And then look at all the texture on this thing. It really looks like an object. Again, I'm going to ask, the question, are they 3D objects? Are they interdimensional objects? Or objects in a way we just don't understand yet? I don't have the answer to that. I'm going to pose the question to all of you. See what you think. Alright, this is a standing cloud sequence. Calling it standing cloud because these things just seem to vertically shoot up on the spot, like right on location. They don't travel in from anywhere like our cumulus clouds and even cumulonimbus clouds of decades past. They just seem to happen right in that particular position, and they always pop up again on the western or eastern horizon, and just to totally block out a clear view of the sun as it's setting or rising. And so in this case, just looking at the strange activity, also this weird arc, I've been noticing this is happening a lot lately, where the sun starts acting weird. Look how long it's getting. So to me, that's artificial sun with another body beyond it. It's trying to hide it. But there seems to always be this kind of arcing cloud framing that ball, let's just say, of the sun. So again, it's happening here. And also I'm starting to see weird objects happening on the rim of whatever these cloud things are. So we're going to take a little closer look at some of the oddities happening. So again, standing cloud with a strange sun and this weird arcing cloud around it. This looks self-illuminating, like there's some kind of object in there generating its own light. I talk about that in previous shows that I have. But then look at this. I caught this like floating in front, so it was worth zooming in on. It looks like a fish shape, so early on I was talking about maybe we're seeing the back side of this thing with its own light generating out the back, or this is a different object altogether. But no matter what the heck is that and why is it there? So is it just something that happened to be passing by in the airspace, or is it generating cloud or light or something else? I don't know, but I'm just posing the question and throwing it out there to all of you. Okay, again with the standing cloud, and this time sky objects. Look at the top, this dark mass at letter A. What is this? And then over here it looks like a craft cloaking beyond. And we've still got this really strange sun. It's really kind of warping out on us here, acting weird with this arced strange cloud. So getting back to A, what is this? I zoomed in at A.1, changed some things on the photo attributes, and I get this really weird shape. So is this a craft trying to emulate a more natural organism? Or is it some kind of 4D astral organism? I don't know. I changed, really enhanced, blew out the contrast even further just to see if I could get at anything on this thing. And look how it looks like maybe two triangles in there. Looks like it's perched on something. Again, what the heck is this? Is it an interdimensional thing that we're just now seeing with the veil thinning, as they say? Or is it a solid 3D craft trying to look like something else? I don't know, but I could see this with the naked eye. It also, of course, helps to have the camera, which has more greater range of light and perceptibility than the human eye. But again, what is going on? And wherever you are, as I always say, please kindly, if you're not doing it already, go outside 2 to 5 minutes a day and take like a 360 look around you above in the sky. Just use your spidey sense, your sixth sense. See if just something feels off with the color or the way the light is shining or whatever. And if you can just snap off a couple of pictures, if you have a handheld device, iPad or camera phone, something, just take a few pictures if you get a weird feeling, and then bring them inside later when you're not in the presence of some glaring artificial light source or the sun these days, and you'll be amazed at what might start popping up in your photos. So I encourage you to do that, and let's all compare notes on what's going on. Alright, so I'd like to close now with the photo of the week. This is a view of some more traditional looking cumulus clouds, although still not quite what I remember of decades past, but at least a little more natural looking. And then beyond that, though, we see this eruption of like this standing cloud beyond that looks very artificial. This huge blanket of artificial stuff, again with the frayed edges happening along the whole back way. And then what the heck is this thing with a like perfectly clean, smooth dome on it? I mean, that stuff doesn't happen except like in high altitude cold air. And this is really hot, humid with no wind, subtropical Florida. So how do we even get this shape? I don't know. But on the cloud play, more tongue-in-cheek form of it, I just see like a huge bald giant emerging with like a glove, almost like a superhero giant with a cape in the background unfurled. But anyway, see what you think is going on with this. This is really puzzling. Maybe there's a craft cloaking in there or something to get that pure form. I really don't know. Let's see what you think. Anyway, everyone, thanks for being here with me and watching the clouds go by here a while. It's Tuesday, so I wish you the rest of a beautiful week ahead and weekend coming up too. And again, best wishes to you always and tremendous peace. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.